For Crema Media's Polity, I'm Sane Dlamini. Media Monitoring Africa's social media editor Motabi Hwayane discusses a legal fund battle for Jacques Pauw. Tell us about your company, Media Monitoring Africa, and what prompted you to establish a legal defense fund for Jacques Pauw, the author of the corruption-busting book, The President's Keepers.
Okay, so Media Monitoring Africa basically monitors South African media to make sure that for media there are ethics, there's quality journalism as well. Basically what we try to do is promote democracy in the democracy and a culture where both the media and the powerful promote a just and fair society. And so the Jacques Pauw Legal Fund, how that came about is basically it was prompted by the public's interest in the book and the information that actually came out of the book. The public then approached NB Publishers to say that they would actually like to fund Jacques Pauw's legal and criminal cases. It is from that point onwards that the publisher, without seeking to be in conflict of interest, then approached us as an independent organization to oversee the process and to administer the fund.
Why do you think a fundraising drive is necessary for this book? And are there any immediate legal threats to Jacques Pauw and his publishers?
Okay, so the fundraising fund is quite important, essentially because what we are standing for as an organization is the fact that media freedom in South Africa is coming to threat. And having said this, also Jacques Pauw to know that also being a journalist has come under various threats from different parties, hence the funding, the donors that are then coming from the public can be said to be anonymous. There are various threats coming from those that have actually leveled the cases like against Jacques Pauw, including the SSA, SARS, amongst others. And also bearing in mind that we actually opened this legal defense fund being prompted by the public. Threat to media freedom in South Africa is something that is quite prevalent, and perhaps to make an instance of this, we have seen instances, for instance, such as the SABC 8, where journalists have been basically tried to be stymied of their freedom of expression, particularly for objecting or standing up against laws and policies that they do not believe in. So it is on that basis that we took the decision to make the drive onto social media and create awareness around this cause, primarily also because as compared to traditional forms of media, social media actually provides more of a liberty of content distribution as well as awareness. This is, of course, notwithstanding the challenges that already exist in that sphere.
What has the response been like so far from the public regarding the Legal Defense Fund?
Well, the response has been very positive, especially noting the fact that most of the donations that we have seen coming in are coming from citizens themselves who have donated from as little as 100 Rand to as much as 500 Rands, you know, which means that they actually believe in the case of media freedom of expression as being fundamental to a healthy democracy. So that has been positive, yet at this point in time we would still like to see more corporates come on board for this case.
And tell us about Jacques Pauw's response when he heard about this legal defense fund.
Yes, look, Jacques Pauw himself is also appreciative of the efforts that the organization is taking, but also in saying this is not to say that our stance as an organization is to stand solely with Jacques Pauw and his publishers. We do not take sides. We are on the side of media freedom, and the media in itself being able to do its job without the constraints that journalists usually have to actually look at, such as threats, the violence and the intimidation they would have to face on a daily basis when it comes to reporting issues that are critical to citizens and might also affect their overall participation in the democracy.
How would you describe the current state of media freedom in our country as well as media censorship?
Well, we know very well also that media freedom in the country is under threat. While the media, there are various challenges that we're looking at, like I had mentioned earlier, the case of the SABC 8 can be an instance where we actually refer to. We know for a fact as well that reporters from your Scorpions, Amabungane, that have been working towards actually getting information out on all these corrupt matters that are currently happening in the country, have faced stark opposition and threats to their life solely for trying to get the information out there to normal citizens.
Lastly, briefly tell us how to get hold of your organization should anyone be interested in donating.
Okay, so the public can find all information regarding the Jacques Pauw Legal Fund on our website, which is www.mediamonitoringafrica.org.za, where therein they will see a page with particularly the Jacques Pauw Legal Defense Fund. All facts are there, the banking details are also involved. Outside of that, they can also find all the information regarding this legal fund on social media at Media Matters ZA, both on Twitter and on Facebook.
That was Motabi Hwayane speaking to Crema Media's Polity about the legal battle for Jacques Pauw.